99%. It's not 99%. It is not 99%. It's blah, 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 blah. I don't even know if I wanted to get a percentages, but it's surely not 99%. It's nowhere near that. But I appreciate you saying that, Shuri. Okay. What are we? 10:37. Maybe this live show isn't going to go as long as some of the more recent ones where we went to 2 hours. That's okay. Let's talk about this Friday's disappearance. Going to cover another older person's disappearance. We haven't done a ton of those. I think maybe Jack Hemby, that disappearance from New Mexico. He was an older gentleman, but we haven't done many where the missing person was getting up there above 70 years old. But we're going to be doing one of those this Friday. It's the disappearance of Alwin Albright from Gilmer, Texas, Gilmer, Texas. He disappeared. The best guess is July 6th of 2019. So this is a disappearance that is not even 2 years old. And just to put you in the time frame of July 6th, 2019, that's right around the time that I went to Amarillo, Texas, to get together, surprise, me showing up in Amarillo, Texas to get together everybody regarding Tom Brown's disappearance. And that's also when I met Penny and Tom's brother, and we went to Canadian Road all around to all those different locations. That's around when July 6th was in 2019. So here we have a disappearance that happened right around that time. And the guest is Alwin's niece. By the way, Alwin is 70. He was 74 when he went missing. And it is his niece, Sherry Sullivan, who is the guest. And we did that interview yesterday. And it's about an hour and a half long, something like that. But and this episode is called The Walk-Off. And being that Shuri is here, David Hardy too, Kathy. Yeah, definitely. David Hardy was also an older gentleman as well. Thank you, Kathy. David Hardy, of course, from Arkansas. Being that both just recently, within the last couple months, Shuri and I had this conversation about, well, Ed, what do you mean when you say a walk-off? What does that mean? And I came to realize that I was saying it, but people were defining it not the way necessarily that I define it. And everybody is entitled to define it the way they want. But in this episode, at least as the theme to start it out, I make it clear my definition of when I say, well, the person walked off. And the walked off does not mean that there's just one choice. In fact, there could be three choices. It's just not clear which one it is. What I mean by walk off is that this person was not forced. This person was not murdered. This person was not abducted, etc. It may be that this person walked off to start a new life. A person might have walked off to commit suicide. The person might have walked off with the idea of coming back, but then an accident happened and the person disappeared. Like Crystal Morrison, I guess. I don't think she planned to die the day that she did, disappear and die the day she did, but that's what happened. So I don't think she was trying to commit suicide, and she certainly didn't start a new. We know that she died on the same day that she disappeared. So that's kind of a walk-off, although we didn't know the kind of walk-off that it was until her remains were found. So that's what I mean by somebody going missing voluntarily. And who knows what the ends to that are. So I cleared that up. And the reason I do that in this particular disappearance is because literally we have video of Alwin Albright walking off. He was in his apartment complex, and on that day, July 6th, he got into some kind of argument with his quote-unquote girlfriend, Amanda, a woman who also lived in the complex. Well, it gets a little complicated because it turns out that Amanda had another boyfriend, and his name is Mavis. So we have a guy named Alwin and a guy named Mavis in this disappearance. Well, for some reason, Alwin and it had something to do with Alwin's car that he had just bought. They got into an argument. She claims that he tried to force his way into her apartment. And when he tried to do that, she called 911 and the police showed up 20 minutes later. Well, while the police are there talking to Amanda about it, and she ended up deciding that she didn't want to file any charges. At the same time, the police are in the complex talking to Amanda. There is video of Alwin walking down the main street of this complex, walking around a building on the edge of the property, and he's never seen again. And there are some woods in the area that were searched. They brought dogs in. You know how I feel about dogs, but dogs were brought in. There were 60, 70 people that went through those woods in there looking for Alwin, never seen again. And we start to realize or think about, he's 74 years old. He didn't take his medication with him for high blood pressure. It was in Texas in July. So it's not going to be cold. It's going to be very, very warm. So how far could a 74-year-old go in the woods? Because that's the way he was headed. Now, very well may be that he came back to his apartment and wasn't seen by anybody, or at least the video didn't show him coming back. But I'm not sure there's any proof of that. That will be up to you to decide, because once his family did go to his apartment, he lived by himself. They did find some things that were missing. They found a window that was wide open that somebody could have gotten through. They found that his bed was not up against a wall, like a headboard. Like we all have a headboard up against a wall, or the side of the bed is against a wall. The bed was in the middle, kind of in the room, in a crooked position. They found some clothing that looked to have some blood on it, although they're not sure if it was recent blood or not, because they did not get into his apartment until almost a week after he went missing. In addition, this car that he had bought not long before he went missing, somebody else was driving it. Because when they went there one time, it was parked where Alwin would park it. And when they came back the next time, it was on another part of the apartment complex. So somebody had keys to it, even though it was supposed to be Alwin's. So you're going to have to think about all this as I interview his niece, Sherry. And I think you can now see why I called this disappearance the walk-off, because we get to contemplate that term. We get to think about an older gentleman walking on video while the police are there, knowing that the police are over talking to his alleged girlfriend and suspecting what they're talking about. And then he goes and walks off the video. He's not sticking around, I guess, to be questioned. I guess we might put it that way. So that's why it's called the walk-off. Once again, Alwin Albright, Gilmer, Texas, July 6th. And you'll hear why we know that that's that date, of course, from the video and a couple other reasons. July 6th, 2019. And his niece, Sherry Sullivan, is the guest. And the episode is called The Walk-Off. Louise says, I would love you to do a UK missing person. I'd love to too, Louise. I've followed it since day one. It's from 2007 in the UK. He was a 14-year-old boy called Andrew Gosden. I am at least a little bit familiar with that case, Louise. He was he supposed to go to school, and then he was seen on video at a mall or something like that. I think so. He went to London on the 14th, September 2007. Yep. I think I do know at least a little bit about that. Marlene Proctor says, wow, another Gilmer, Texas disappearance. Kelly Day Wilson, 17, disappeared from her job at the local video store, January 1992. Big story unsolved. Well, Marlene would love to cover that one too. Not saying it's familiar to me, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe if her family's out there somewhere, it sounds like something that we would certainly feature for the program. Thank you for letting me know about that, Marlene. Louise says he had 100% record of school, really clever. He was deaf in one ear, lived with his parents and sister, bunked off school, I guess took off school, skipped school, I guess we say in the United States, Louise. Went to London and was never seen again. Didn't tell anybody he was going. I am familiar with his disappearance, Louise, and I don't know how we could make it happen, Louise, but if you know that his family's out there doing interviews, maybe we can contact them through Facebook or something and make it happen. Maybe I can talk to them over Zoom or Skype, something like that. We'll give it a shot. And I think that's a fairly well-known disappearance here in the United States, too. In fact, Kathy has heard of it as well. Louis says that disappearance has always puzzled me. It's from 2007, but the police messed up from day one. Complete incompetence. Okay. Would like to give it a shot, Louise. I know that I've talked about it once in a while that I would like to cover the disappearance of Trevor Dealey from Dublin, Ohio. There is a Dublin, Ohio. Dublin, Ireland. That's another one that is, he goes to this Christmas party and walking home, never seen again. And there have been some searches done. There's been rumors that a gang got a hold of him. But would give it our best shot should we get to cover any of those disappearances over there in the United Kingdom, Ireland, mainland Europe, as long as the people speak English, because that's the only language I speak, because I'm of course an arrogant American. Would certainly, it doesn't matter where the location is. It just happens that it's easier for us to cover disappearances here in the United States or a few in Canada due to there being no language barrier. We have nothing against the country of Mexico, but it's a little tough when people there only speak Spanish well. A lot of them do speak English, but I don't know if it would be of a high enough quality to do a really, really good in-depth interview. Just can't tell. It may depend on the person. But if people speak English, then I'm ready to talk to them, no matter where they are. Well, I think that is about the show. So what did we do tonight? Talked about disc golf this past weekend, this coming weekend, and got a lot of tournaments scheduled these upcoming weeks, almost every weekend, I think, in April. But the thing is, they're all within driving distance, so that's nice. Have some in Clearwater, up there in Floral City, down in Sarasota. These places that I can drive and come back the same day. That's really, really nice. So, and some of them are just one-day tournaments, which are is nice as well. So I got that happening in April, but still going to be very busy with a lot of Unfound work and other things. It's been beautiful here. Been cleaning out this closet. Going to work on it a little bit more tomorrow. May complete it tomorrow as I'm doing Unfound work and watching some of the Masters. Thinking about getting a quote-unquote new car, which means another car. Getting rid of my Sonata. Thinking about getting something else. Just thinking about it. My diet is going what I would say is fairly well. Ab exercises, staying away from the carbs and sugar. YouTube, almost 12,000 subscribers. My park ranger story, Brendan Condon poll. The trial of Tyler North, not going to happen until November. Upcoming show that I did with my friend April A. Bear, where she interviews me about some missing persons theory on her podcast. Upcoming episodes, I kind of gave you a rundown of what the rest of April is going to look like for Friday episodes. The newsletter, did you get it? Austin Pivo, Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman, Janelle Matthews. Took a question from Shelley. Also took a question from some of you, including Louise. And then finally, as we usually do, we ended up with the episode for this Friday, the disappearance of Alwin Albright. And I should say, it was Sherry who brought up the idea, hey, do you think if, I came up with some reward money, how does that work and everything? And I just told her I wouldn't bother. She asked me, and I just told her I would not even get into that at all. It doesn't work. So once again, this Friday, the disappearance of Alwin Albright from Gilmer, Texas. That's all I got. Twinkle says, good night. Louise, yes, Dad. Kevin Gosden does interviews. He has done many, but nothing has ever come of finding Andrew. Maybe we can make that happen. I'll talk to Emily and see if she can reach him. Linda says, unfortunately, I don't think there will ever be a sort of missing person. You're right, Linda, and it's very sad. Yeah. As Cherie is reminding all of you, keep your head on a swivel. That's my saying, although I ripped it off from somebody else way back in the day. And so everybody have a good, great week. Spicy, Jasmine, Charlotte, thank you all for making some time on your Wednesday evenings, Wednesday night to watch this live show. I tell you over and over again, I love doing it. I love interacting with all of you. Hopefully I make you laugh, give you some good information. You make me laugh. You give me some good information. So I think it's a lot of good mutual respect here. And thank you so much for listening to Unfound. And you will hear me Friday for the Friday episode. Once again, patreon.com/Unfound Podcast. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get alerts when we upload new videos. And that's it. Good night, everyone.